Hello and welcome back to the IO Sportscast. With me as always, I've got Ollie. Say hello.
Wagwan, everyone.
And today we're talking about the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. The first Dutch Grand Prix, 36 years I think it is.
Yeah, yeah, 36 years.
1985. Niki Lauda won the last one. And there was a lot of hype behind this race, Max's home race and the context of the championship. And from what I saw of the atmosphere, it looked immense.
Yeah, it did look like a good atmosphere. I think the atmosphere was better than the race, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a fan of strategy, you probably enjoyed this race. If you are a fan of on-track action, you probably did not like this
Maybe
race.
not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's start with our race rating. Why don't you go first for a change?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. 'Cause it's pretty much just a procession.
Yeah, I mean, it
Not
really.
only that, I give it if for atmosphere, I give it a 10, obviously. But for actual all as a whole, I'll give it a 6.5 because it's a narrow track and it was pretty much just a procession. You couldn't really overtake and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10.
That's fair enough. I was gonna go 5.5. It's like 3 star down the middle. I am a fan of like strategy races, but it annoyed me that Mercedes got the strategy slightly wrong and there wasn't actually a proper chance of them doing anything,
Yeah,
which I'm sure we'll
I,
get into. But yeah,
I do like strategies, but I also like on track action.
yeah, you,
And
you,
those
you
five
like a bit
rating
of
it.
both. You're not you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like as a purist. You're not really in that category. You're a T20
Nah,
sort of
I
Formula
want
One
I
driver.
want both. Yeah, yeah. I want both strategy and on track action. But yeah.
um, right. So predictions. Oh no, best driver, worst driver first. I thought I was
Um,
jumping ahead of myself. Um,
yeah. I'll go
best.
first again.
Yeah, go for it.
Best driver, it's going to be Max, isn't it? But also because it's his home Grand Prix and it's start to finish. And,
Okay.
yeah, led
Yeah.
every lap. I was going to maybe say Checo as well, but because obviously he started
Mhm.
from the pit lane or last or whatever and got up to P8. But you expect that in that Red Bull because it's one of the quickest cars on the grid, if not the quickest. But yeah, Max was pretty much flawless all weekend, so I'm going to give it to Max.
Very good.
I give
Well,
him a 9.
a 9 is strong. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go with Max because I was sort of expected that everyone was gonna say Max. I'm gonna go for Pierre Gasly. Um,
Ooh.
because I mean P4 in the race and P4 in quali, he's done really well with the AlphaTauri there. Uh, he's sort of in a bit of no man's land, so didn't really get the sort of the coverage that he probably deserved being in fourth. But yeah, he was in a separate class to the rest of the field. So
He's
I'm
done well in that
he really has.
AlphaTauri this year, man.
It's a car that he just seems to mould with perfectly.
It shouldn't be up there, but he's
He's
getting it up
making it.
there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's definitely getting the most out
Yeah.
of the car. Um, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him a 9.5. I think the only way he could have got a 10 was getting on the.
Oof.
If he got on the podium, it'd have been a 10, but there was no way he was doing that.
Jeez.
I mean, he got lapped
Uh,
by the leaders.
Everybody got lapped by the top three.
Yeah, so there was a definite gap. So he did
Mm.
almost as best as he could, but had he managed to finish on the podium, that'd have been a 10.
Fair.
Worst
Who's your
driver.
worst driver?
Oh, you
Yeah.
want me to go first for worst driver?
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to give it to Nikita Mazepin. I was going to give
Why?
it to Perez because, well,
You're
it's
going to give it to Perez?
well, yeah, just because of quality. Like, yeah, he had a great drive, but he's only in that position to get the great drive because he had quality, and it sort of was his fault and wasn't his fault in qualifying.
Right,
Because
okay.
if I remember rightly, he didn't make the line. Um,
Right, is that why he got knocked out?
yeah, as far as I'm aware, he didn't make the line, and then missed the chance to do the fast lap at the end when everyone was getting faster.
I didn't see quali because I was at rugby watching.
Yeah, we're recording this on a Tuesday, which is the latest we've ever recorded one of these. So this is like 3-4 days ago now when all this happened.
Yeah.
It has actually played into our hands this week. We'll get onto all that later. But yeah, I'm going to be mean and give it to Sergio or Nikita. Nikita just for his general behaviour all weekend. Mick wasn't much better in a couple of cases, but
has he been a naughty boy?
Yeah, I mean, those Haas guys are not getting on. There's a little bit of tea brewing there. I'm giving it to Nikita.
Do you think we're gonna? Oof.
Well, come on, remind me about the Haas drivers later.
I said I didn't really see quali or did most of the back markers because the race was mainly focused on the front three. But yeah, I'll give it to them. I'm gonna go with you, Nikita. I want to see them implode and have a proper full-on fallout with each other. Nikita and Schumacher.
Okay.
I think that'd be good.
Someone's a
I want to see them
Netflix
crash
fan.
into each other. Yeah, obviously just for trying to survive and what Gunter Steiner's gonna say. I want them to crash into each other safely, but yeah.
Right. This time it is time for predictions coming into this. Qualifying, you said Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. You got Bottas right in P3.
How about the Verstappen the wrong way around?
Yeah. I went for Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, which was almost correct. I think that's the best I've ever done in predictions.
Norris was 11th.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, so I'm taking the 2 points there.
Yeah, you can have them.
In the race, you said Hamilton, Verstappen, Vettel.
Fucking miles away.
You were, yeah. I mean, I could see Hamilton maybe doing it with like a good undercut strategy or something like that. Really, it was Max's weekend, but Hamilton was the only one that stood a chance. But yeah, Vettel, that was game over in qualifying. I was going to message you, but obviously, you never know what's going to happen in a race, and maybe Vettel could just do it. I didn't fare that much better. I stuck with
exactly.
Verstappen and Hamilton, so I still get 2 points. But I was very optimistic and said Sainz. To be fair, though, the Ferraris in 5th and 6th in qualifying did do really well to make up the third row. So I was closer. I was closer.
Backwards, didn't they, in the race?
The Ferraris finished 5th and 7th. Alonso just nicked Sainz at the end.
Who finished where? Which Ferrari finished where?
Charles finished 5th. Carlos Sainz finished 7th.
Who finished 6th?
Alonso. Yeah.
Okay.
But before we get into the details of the Dutch Grand Prix, we have to go back a week to the Grand Prix in Spa. Nikita Mazepin does not have a fastest lap anymore. There is officially no recognised fastest lap for the Belgian Grand Prix. Don't ask me why. That's just how it is now. I assume it's because they called it short and officially made it a 1 lap race, which doesn't qualify as being fair.
Yeah, I suppose. Plus he was at the back, so he could have pulled back a bit from the rest of the field and just floored it. I guess.
Anyway, he's not got it.
Oh, good.
But back to Zandvoort. Latifi and Perez started in the pit lane. I can't remember completely why. I think Latifi's was a gearbox change from his crash in qualifying.
Yeah, because he crashed. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he got a 5-place penalty, but then I think because he then changed some aero stuff in Parc Fermé, he got demoted to the pit lane. I don't know if it was a front wing or rear wing or something that he changed. Perez's side, they basically just went, we're already at the back, may as well take up an extra power engine and go for it, which, given all the crashes from earlier in the season, Bottas, that was expected that both Red Bulls are going to need to take another engine at some point. So if you're already at the back, you may as well go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it seems to work. Perez had a fantastic charge through the field to get in the points on a track which was not suited for overtaking.
There was a few overtakes, wasn't there? But there wasn't like loads.
I feel like there was three places you made an overtake, which were
start finish
straight and then turn 1 as 2 separate opportunities, because you could go around the outside in turn 1, and then the
turn 3, the first banking, is it?
No, I was thinking the chicane. I don't know which turn it is. The chicane,
the middle sector.
Yeah, where Sergio made a couple of moves there.
Right.
That was, I think, the only other place that there was any major on-track action. I guess turn 3 is an opportunity, but with the amount of different lines people were running through there, it kind of shut them all off.
Yeah, that's why I said it, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, everyone got away quite cleanly, given how thin the track was. There was a couple of very close calls with the Alpines, and the Williamses, and Giovinazzi, I think, was the other one that was involved in all that.
Giovinazzi crashed into Alonso. I was
Yeah.
listening to the WTF1 podcast and they mentioned it.
Yeah. That was all very hairy, very, very close. No, like, major accidents, which is good. And then at the end of lap 1, there was the Hasses coming together. I
didn't see that.
Well, I thought that these guys had sorted themselves out, and Nikita had calmed down, and they were racing as a team and getting the experience and just sorting themselves out. Do you remember the video of Nikita Mazepin in Formula 2 where he just drives that guy for it's like they're fighting for P5 or something, and he just drives the guy
in Bahrain where he drives him into the pit wall?
Yeah, basically that was what happened with Mick. Is Nikita came across to defend from Mick overtaking and almost pushed Mick into the pit wall, like the entrance wall. Caused Mick to get some damage on his front wing, which is why Mick pitted the next lap round. Or a couple of laps in even. So yeah, I was not happy with Nikita with that, especially after everything that had gone on in quali with Sebastian. It just feels like he's starting to get a little bit sour again, and particularly in his interview where he was like, "Oh, I don't see what I did wrong. Like, there was nothing wrong with that. It's Mick's fault." And it's like, how is it Mick's fault when you've swerved off the line to stop him overtaking?
Yeah, he's tried to overtake you because he's a better driver.
Like, it's of all people as well. It's your teammate. Like,
yeah, exactly. You don't do it anyway. You don't swerve on a straight anyway.
No.
You do it to your teammate.
Yeah.
Or push them towards the wall.
That was. I don't know. I feel like
I want to see it implode. I just want to see explosions and implosions and.
Mick Schumacher has already said that their relationship's beyond repair, and we're 12 races in.
13, I think.
13, something like that.
Zandvoort was 13 or something.
That is not going to be a situation that they can keep together for much longer, I don't think.
Do you reckon they'll be the same two for next year, or?
I think they'll be announced. I'm yet to be confident they'll finish next year together.
Ooh.
And I really don't know what they're going to do, because Mick is like the Ferrari upcomer. He's going to be prioritised by Ferrari. It's going to be interesting.
But then Mazepin's got daddy.
Yeah,
then Mazepin's got his dad's money on it.
Yeah. If I'm Gunter Steiner, then what I would be doing now is getting on the phone to Gene Haas, being like, find us another paid driver who's going to give the same money as Carly does, and then dump Mazepin from the team and bring the new guy in.
Straight away off for next season.
As soon as. Like, because
Really?
I mean, the contract, it's not going to be this season. By the time that all that gets sorted out,
All right, yeah. I
so
thought you meant like this season. I was gonna say.
no, but I would be if I was Gunther Steiner, I'd be saying to Gene Haas, find someone different because I would not want Mazepin
Yeah.
racing in my team next season.
No.
Yeah, he's just not mature enough as a driver, in my
I
opinion.
mean, we don't. Nobody likes him anyway, but he's doing this. He's gonna get even more people disliking him.
There's a difference.
Even his teammate.
Yeah, there's a difference between having people dislike you and being dangerous. I can deal with a driver I dislike.
Yeah.
I can't deal with him
Dangerous
being.
drivers.
Yeah. It's gonna end up badly for someone somewhere. But anyway, so yeah, back to the race. Daniel Ricciardo's engine decided to try and give out. Spewed a little bit of oil all over the track, which was quite nice, and puffed some smoke. He made a dashboard change, and everything seemed to be alright after that. So I assume it was just a bad setting. I think on commentary, Jensen Button was saying that sometimes they overfill like some oil reservoir or something, and sometimes it does just spill out at the start.
I did panic at the start
Yeah,
because George Russell was behind him and he was complaining. He just saw smoke. I was like, "Oh, is it gonna explode? Is it not gonna explode?"
Yeah, I thought it was gonna.
Obviously, if he had broken down or if he had have had an engine explosion, with it being Zandvoort and not many runoff areas and it being narrow, there would have been probably more than likely been a safety car that had come out and that could have turned the race on its head.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping a little bit that it was going to get a little bit worse because obviously you could see the smoke on the TV, you could see it like coming out, but then obviously, as you said, it made some changes and
no, off he went. Yeah, I was hoping that he would make it, but I still wanted the safety car, so I just didn't want anyone to crash. I just wanted a safety car in there to make something.
I didn't want him to crash, but I mean, like, it pulled over somewhere, but obviously with the narrowness of the runoff areas.
Yeah. But
the lack of them, there would have been a safety car had he pulled over somewhere.
Yeah. But I wanted him to continue driving. I think he's had just really bad luck this season. He's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not gone right for him. So let's try and avoid him pulling over with mechanical issues as well.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, after that, Mick Schumacher came into the pits as we discussed because of contact and he had to change his front wing, which meant he got lapped in lap 8. He had a very slow stop and was like a minute and a bit down when he came out of the pits, and got lapped by lap 8, and then lap 9. Oh, go on.
Did he finish ahead of Mazepin?
Yes, in the end. No.
Sure.
Yes, yeah, he did. Yeah, no, Mazepin retired.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh. Karma.
Yeah. But lap 9, Max had led 1,000 laps in his career. That's quite. That's not bad considering he's 23.
Yeah, well, he's led. I think this season alone he's led like 200 and something, hasn't he?
I mean,
so most of them have come from this season because he's been out in front most of the time.
It's crazy to think that he's on something like his 7th season or something like that, isn't he?
5th or 6th, yeah.
Well, he joined when he was 16.
It's
2015 was his first season, so 7th. Yeah, this is his 7th season.
Mad.
That's mental.
And it's like his 5th season with Red Bull, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous.
The actual proper Red Bull team, the main team.
Yeah. Also, lap 9, teammate Sergio Perez decided to brake a little harder into turn 1 and ruin his strategy. I mean, that's what happened. He had the hards on, was trying to go long, and then
locked up.
He locked up the inside right, front right, and then had to change the strategy. I feel like it didn't hold him back too much, given the gaps ahead. But I mean, he probably would have got to like 6th, maybe 5th, without that. I think. but
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, he still did pretty well given like the situation he was in. This is when the strategies all started, and Lewis was told we're gonna pit target -7,
-7. I know, I was
which
like, oh.
flip. That's an early stop, and that
Yeah, it's just...
at that point, everyone went, well, it's a two stop. All Max needs to do is cover him off. All the lore and mystique of of a potential strategy battle gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Which,
but Lewis did his normal thing of complaining that his tire, just like every opportunity, he was like, "Yeah, you shouldn't have put me on these tires, or the old tires are still good, and all this kind of stuff." And then he had a section where he was complaining, like he normally does, saying his tires were dead, and he started pumping in fastest lap again.
yeah, Lewis has got a mix of things going on with tyres. One, he is actually pretty good at looking after his tyres.
Yeah, he is probably one of the best.
He's up there. Him and Perez, I think, are probably the best two.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's also the thing now. He's cried wolf so often that it's gone back the other direction, where teams are like, "Oh, we don't know if he is actually now complaining about bad tyres." It used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be, okay, his tyres are dead. He's coming in, and then they got bluffed, and then at the end, like the end of last season, it was like the meme of, okay, he's going to now set fastest laps. It's now coming back into the realm of, like, is he actually struggling? Like, the Mercedes is not as dominant this year, so is that actually now some trouble?
Exactly.
Because he is now having to be behind Max Verstappen in a lot of races. It's not like he's out front in clean air.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But obviously the Red Bull guys
probably playing mind games.
I'm sure that'll be part of it. But yeah, all the Red Bull guys had to do was cover him. And the first pit stop for Lewis was relatively solid. Like, I feel like coming in slightly earlier was probably the better option. I feel like the issue was when they brought him in and put him out behind that trio of cars in the midfield with Ricciardo, and I feel like there's a gamble they had to take. If he gets out in front of Ricciardo, that's a big thing. If he does it, if he goes a lap later, then there's a chance that Max is already there, pumping up the pace and aware that Lewis is going to come in, so they don't quite get the same surprise opportunity. And the undercut isn't then worth as much if Max is pushing because he knows he's coming in. But
yeah, exactly.
It was a chance, and it just didn't happen. I want to give a shout out.
Nope.
I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Latifi. I've made a very nice. I've made a note here. Nicholas Latifi, turn one move on Mazepin round the outside, very nice. And I remember it. I don't remember why it was so nice, other than I think it was just a surprise that Latifi had gone for it. I think I was just surprised given...
Probably because it's on Mazepin, that's why.
Well, given his crash... No, I think it was given his crash that going around the outside at turn one, like, you've got to trust your car at that point, and you've got to trust the driver on your inside as well. So, Perez did that 2 or 3 moves, and the round the outside moves are always very nice.
Oh, 100%. No matter what track you're on,
yeah,
you can go around the outside, it's always...
But when you're talking about a still fairly inexperienced driver going around the outside of someone who we probably don't trust driving against...
yeah.
At turn one, so coming off the main straight, when you've just had a big accident the day before... Yeah, fair play. Fair play to Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, fair.
I would also like to shout out Vettel's pit crew for his first stop for a 2.3, even though the new regulations have come in for incorporating that pit stop buffer thing of like 0.2.
So it'd be the 2.1.
It would have been. However, we're going to go one step further because Max's second stop, this is the one in response to Lewis coming out in traffic, was a 2.1 with the buffer. So that was effectively a 1.9.
Oh yeah, 1.9. Sorry.
Effectively, yeah.
Jesus.
I'm trying to think the last time we got close to that with these new heavy tyres.
We have.
I know they've been in
There's
that
been a few
2
1.9 before the .2 rule that come in. There's been a few 1.9s this season.
this season. I
Yeah,
just
there's
can't. I
been
just can't
quite a
remember.
few by Red Bull.
I just can't remember when the
There's,
last one was. I know they've
no,
been
no,
round about
there has
there.
been
But...
quite a lot. There has been quite a lot this season with Red Bull.
Oh, fair enough then. Let's talk about Valtteri Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas defending for the win. Don't know whose win he was talking about. Probably Lewis's. There was no way that Valtteri was holding on for the win unless Lewis and Max crashed.
Nah, I think he let Max by too easily. He should have tried to hold him up as much as possible.
I feel like...
I know Max was on a fresher set.
Yeah, I feel like
but I mean,
there was 2 laps where they were together. The first lap, Max was not near enough to dive anyway. The second lap, Valtteri made an error before the second to last turn, like the one before the banking. Coming into that, he made a mistake, so he'd lost a lot of time. Had he got that right, I think he was in a better position down the straight to actually try
to defend. Yeah,
but having made that mistake and lost a couple of tenths, that was...
He bounced it up.
That's too much.
We also talk about his fastest lap that he
Yeah.
shouldn't have done, but he did do because he's Valtteri Bottas and he doesn't care anymore.
Well, you say that he doesn't care anymore. If he really wanted to screw Lewis over or to screw the team over, why did he, once Max had got past him, why did he let Lewis through so easily?
That is true, yeah.
Because he could have just kept it and parked it on the apex of the next corner and just really held Lewis up. But he didn't. Yeah, the fastest lap thing was a little bit strange. It was expected. You're putting him onto a fairly new set or even brand new set of softs. I think there might have been scrubs, I can't remember. Yeah. At the end of a race, when there's very little fuel in the car, of course he's going to go for it. But it just... The radio messages that I've heard was that he was just playing around. And it's like, that's fine, but then you really need to slam your brakes on and make sure. And apparently he did actually slow down quite a lot.
I think they told him too late. They told him after he got through the second sector. If they'd have told him before the second sector,
he could have actually done like...
finished the first.
He could have done average sectors rather than having to slam on to try and stop it. And could probably have done a better job.
He still got fastest lap even though he slowed down.
Yeah, which caused Lewis to have to come in, which, I mean...
Yeah.
If Lewis had crashed going for that fastest lap, Valtteri would have been getting a right rollicking.
He'd have got the book thrown at him.
I think he'd have got a fist thrown at him almost. I think they'd have been fuming. Like, literally, this is the battle where fastest laps matter. That's 22 points that we're fighting for.
Yeah, exactly, man.
In a battle this close, I don't know. If that had backfired, Valtteri's in real properly in real trouble.
Yeah,
but
100%.
It didn't. It's fine. And we're going to come on to another sad time. George Russell. Bless him. In the points for the last couple of races, was around P12, P11, depending on where he was during the race. And you just thought, maybe, just maybe, one of the top guys drops out and he nicks a point again. You never know, just maybe. And then he gets hit with a speeding in the pit lane penalty.
Oh, no way, did he?
Yeah, he got 5 seconds. So now I was like, crap. So he's going to be like P13 then. But then, in like one of the last couple of laps, he came in to pit, and I thought he was going to serve his penalty and then go again, but I think he did end up just retiring. I don't know whether he ended up doing one more lap and then retiring, but he retired with what was a gearbox issue, but still finished classified ahead of Mick Schumacher just with the way that their ordering on track was. Yuki Tsunoda was the other retirement for a power unit issue. I don't remember seeing anything really of him in the race.
They mainly focused on the front three, didn't they? Lewis and Max and
Yeah,
Valtteri.
I mean there were a few dropbacks to the Alpines and that little battle, with Alonso like chasing down Sainz and Perez and Norris fighting their way through the field. So there were a couple of moments, but yeah, the back guys got nothing. Like I would have loved to have seen like Vettel versus Kubica. Like Kubica's come back out of nowhere for the race.
And he's hardly got any screen time.
Yeah, and he's still, he's doing his job. Like he finished ahead of both sets of Hasses, both Williams. For Alfa Romeo, that's exactly what he needs to be doing. But it did not happen. It did not happen.
Yeah, exactly. No.
But it is what it is. So we have quite an interesting table of results now. Standings for the World Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen takes the lead. He's on 224.5 points. Lewis Hamilton in second on 221.5. That's a 3-point gap, and we're like halfway through the season. Yes. Oh, this is going to be the best season in Formula One for a long time.
Yeah, probably.
Valtteri Bottas jumps to third with his podium finish. He's on 123 points, 9 points ahead of Lando Norris, who drops to fourth after a very difficult weekend. Sergio Perez stays fifth, 108 points. Leclerc sixth on 92, with Sainz just behind on 89.5. And there's a nice pattern of Gasly on 66, Ricciardo 56, Alonso 46, Ocon 44. That's a nice little tasty battle. There is some nice tasty battles going on in this championship.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
There's the one at the front. There's a three-way battle for third. There's both Ferrari guys are tied together, going for 6th and 7th, and then pretty much anyone from 8th to 11th could finish anywhere from 8th to 11th. And it's nice to see. There we are. At the bottom, number 21, Robert Kubica, is officially classified in the World Drivers' Championship standings again. It's nice having him back. I'm kind of gutted we didn't get more out of Kubica's career.
Yeah, well, he had that massive accident and his rally crash as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think.
He's not been the same since he's crashed. Since he had that rally.
He's
crash.
not, but if you think about some of the guys that have come through Formula One in the years in between, he could still do a much better performance, at least in consistency and second-manship rather than out and out pace. But
yeah, no, but I mean, obviously, if he hadn't left to do rallying, I reckon he'd have stayed and he'd have done a lot better.
Oh, absolutely. World Constructors. Mercedes still have the lead. It's a 12-point lead, which I feel like is pretty uncomfortable for them because they've not remembered a 12-point lead for a long time. Red Bull second, 344.5 plays 332.5. Ferrari just pulling away from McLaren's this weekend. 181.5 plays 170. The battle for fifth is really just Alpine and AlphaTauri. 90 plays 84. Aston Martin on their own in seventh. Williams, I think, are guaranteed eighth now. I can't see anything special happening. Alfa Romeo with only 3 points, and then the Haas at the bottom with nil points.
That's how it's going to stay, because Haas aren't going to get any points this season.
No. I'm just having a look for different teams and retirements, and McLaren have only had one retirement, and Alfa Romeo have only had one retirement in the entire season.
Who's had the least?
Those two, I think, have had the least. Mercedes have had 3, Red Bull have had 2, Ferrari have had 1.
Mercedes have been Bottas's.
Ferrari have had 2, one technical retirement and one was a did not start for Leclerc in Monaco. McLaren had a retirement in Hungary. Alpine have had 3. AlphaTauri have had 4. 3.
Red Bull have had 1.
They've had 3.
How
Sorry.
many Red Bull had?
Red Bull have had 2. Max in Great Britain and
Hungary.
Perez
Oh, yeah.
in Hungary.
Have all of Mercedes been Bottas?
Imola was Bottas. Monza was Bottas. Hungary was Bottas.
We've not had Monza.
Sorry, not Monza. Monaco. I read MON. Imola was Bottas. Monaco was Bottas. Hungary was Bottas.
Was Imola this year when he crashed with George?
Yes.
When they had that massive crash?
Yes. Because both Williams retired because Latifi and Mazepin came together as well. Yeah. Right. This is why we've magically done this to record on a Tuesday, because silly season has finally started.
Yeah.
The news that we were waiting for.
The summer break, it didn't.
Yeah. The news we were all waiting for. We were wanting it to happen in the summer break. When it didn't, immediately I was like, well, it's going to be Monza because of the Alfa Romeo link is going to be announced. We had Kimi's announcement that he's retiring last week, and then unfortunately failed his COVID test, so didn't drive this weekend. But then yesterday, as we're recording this, Bottas was announced for Alfa Romeo in 2022. It's not a massive surprise.
A multi-year deal.
Yeah, it's not a massive surprise really. Like, it was sort of the worst kept secret that George was going to Mercedes, and that was announced this morning, alongside the AlphaTauri guys keeping their drives for next year. So can't forget those guys. But really, it has all been about when was George going to get announced, and now he's been announced.
I know, it's been the worst kept secret in what do you call it? F1.
Yeah.
For as long as I can remember.
Yeah. I feel like this is probably the right week to do it, given that we're going to Alfa Romeo's home track next in Monza.
Is it the home track?
Well, it's they're Italian, aren't they?
Yeah, so Ferrari and AlphaTauri.
Technically, actually, Alfa Romeo are not. They're Swiss because it's Sauber, but it's Alfa Romeo and Ferrari that are in that team as sponsors and engine manufacturer. So they have strong Italian ties. So it's nice. It's nice to go there with an announcement that Bottas is going to drive for them. I feel like that's a good call. He's got experience, fighting for maybe not drivers' championships, but definitely team championships. He knows what a fast car feels like to drive. He was in Fred Vasseur's GP3 team, so I think he even was a properly winner and almost champion. I think with them, so they've got a good relationship going into it. Right, time to make some predictions now. Monza is one of our sprint qualies. So I want from you 3 predictions this time, not 2. Monza predictions. Let's get these written.
Do they do proper quali?
So there's proper quali on the Friday, sprint quali on the Saturday, and then the rest of the race on the Sunday. So I would like Friday quali. Your predictions.
As normal, just as normal.
Normal shootout quali, yeah.
Verhambot.
Standard Verhambot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fairly similar to that. I'm going to, just for the sake of argument that we don't go for the same thing, switch Hamilton and Verstappen around and go Ham Verbot, just because I want us to be different, even though I think actually Max will probably have the upper hand. So sprint quali. This is 17 Oh, not 17. 100 kilometers. It was 17 laps last time, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more than that in
Yep.
Monza.
There's a pit stops.
I think you can make pit stops. I don't think people are planning to.
No, but there's. Okay.
I don't think there's any
You don't have
forced.
to. So you don't have to stop like in a normal race.
As far as I'm aware, you're not required to stop in sprint quali. No.
Unless you get damage.
Yeah.
And then obviously that forms the order for the race, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Ham the Leclerc.
Ooh. Tasty. Tasty. I'm gonna say that Verstappen gets Lewis into turn 1. Verstappen, Hamilton, and I didn't say which lap turn 1, just turn 1. That's enough. That's enough
fair.
detail.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna hold me to that. So
No, that's fine.
I can see you messaging me on Saturday afternoon, being like, "Aha, we're at turn 2 on lap 1. You got it wrong."
Yeah.
Third place. I don't know. I really want Norris to do well. I so want him to do well, but I just don't know whether that McLaren's going to keep up. The Ferraris could go well with it being their home race. They've not exactly had bad performance lately. No, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick Bottas in there. I'm gonna play it reasonably safe.
So what's your finishing order?
So my finishing order is Verstappen to get official pole, Hamilton, Bottas.
What was your qualifying result?
Mine.
Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Your Friday quali.
My Friday was Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Sprint quali, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas.
Right.
So, Sunday race.
Race.
Who's taking the 25? Who's taking the 25 points? Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to switch them back again. I'm going to switch them back again. We're going to have the best weekend of racing. I'm going to give it to Hamilton. Our rule of making bold calls. I'm going to make a bold call. Let's just say Lewis. When he comes to Monza, Lewis is not exactly the cleanest driver. I can think of several incidents where world championships have been at stake. We've got to Monza, there's been an accident of some sort. And admittedly, most of the time that's with Vettel. But I can just see something happening. Because last year, I think Verstappen clipped his front wing, Lewis's front wing, didn't he? Lewis went over. Oh, I forget which the chicanes are. The first set of chicanes before the Lesmos.
So the first chicanes, the turn 1 and 2 is Rettifilio, and the
not that one.
chicanes is after the Curva Grande is Della Rosia.
Della Rosia, before the Lesmos.
Just before the Lesmos.
Yeah. At that one, didn't Lewis go wide, come back on, and then get caught by Max's back tyres last year? Am I remember that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was Max. Basically, Lewis just gets in trouble in Monza.
It was somebody.
I think this time there's going to be contact, and Verstappen's going to be either punted out the race or punted down the points. I think he's going to drop back at the very least. So, in that respect, I'm going to go for a phenomenally big call here.
Go on, lad.
Hamilton win. Bottas second, Leclerc third. I've said it now. I've said it. Let's just move on. I've said it.
Fair.
I've said it.
So Mercedes 1-2. So you go for a Mercedes 1-2
with a Ferrari. I haven't even factored Perez. I've literally not thought about Perez this entire time. Like, literally, the only reason I've just thought about Perez is because you said Mercedes 1-2.
I'm gonna go Hamilton, Verstappen,
Verstappen
and Perez.
Ooh, Perez, nice. Red Bull 2-3.
I'm going to do a statement. I think Hamilton's going to get fastest lap.
Oh, Hamilton with fastest lap. I'm writing that down. Ham fastest lap. I'll write down my other statement as well. Ham for contact. Ver gets destroyed. Drops back or out of race.
Still.
Right. I think the quality of the internet connection is telling us that we need to wrap this up. Do you want to attempt socials? I'm not we'll see if the internet connection holds on.
Not this week. Not this week.
Okay. Yeah. No, actually, let's not do that.
Hold on. We'll leave it this week. Obviously, we'll put it in the description.
I can give it a go.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah,
Technical difficulties. We're curtailing this early. We'll leave the socials in the description. Or if I can remember, I'll do a voiceover, but they'll be in the description at least. Thank you very much for this. We've made a progressive race, a race of procession, a lot more interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone listening. Apologies about these technical difficulties at the end, but we hope you've enjoyed listening. Ollie, it has been a pleasure, mate. If you can still hear me.
As always, pal. Yeah, I'm still here, just about.
Just about. Right, we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
See ya.